Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Thanks for logging on to my latest long range update here. Man, I hope you're enjoying today. It's just absolutely gorgeous around the area. You really can't beat this for the end of June. Temperatures here late in the afternoon are in the 70s over most of the area. Few 80s dotting every once in a while. Upper 70s, low 80s. Absolutely cannot be beat. Unfortunately, don't get used to this. We got a few more days of some cool weather to go, but we've got some very active weather returning to the forecast period yet again, and it looks like we got a heat wave coming in July for us, although it looks rather transient right now, and that's the good news for it. Here's what's going on in the modeling. First off, let's just talk about this weekend and get that. That's what everybody wants to know about. What about the 4th of July weekend? Very active weather this weekend. There's some rain and thunderstorms in the forecast. Lots of questions. We're going to go through that here. First of all, right now, high pressure, large and in charge. Got that nice northerly directioned wind for us. That's going to move out of the way, though, as we head later into the week. By the time we get into Friday, we have a front that's moving through, and you can see just the smallest little hint of this, maybe some spotty showers with it according to the GFS, but it sort of squelches it as high pressure starts to come down in charge for Saturday. So do think there's a chance that we could see some shower activity on Saturday still, but by and large, I think it's going to be mostly a dry day. I think it's going to be later in the evening on Saturday before we would have anything that comes through here. Eventually, though, we've got this storm system out here to our west that's working its way in, and you can see, well, here's what the GFS does, and it starts to bring this in as we head into Sunday in particular, and could bring some potentially heavy rain with it over the course of Sunday and into Monday. This actually moves it out of the way and keeps us dry a lot of next week. There are a lot of differences on that, though. In fact, well, let me show you this in a second. Let me just go ahead over here to the euro and show you the difference between it. The euro is significantly different with this. In fact, if I put the euro into motion here, here we are late Thursday night, overnight into Friday, and here you've got some spotty showers possibly around in the area on Friday. Nothing too significant with that. That moves out of the way. Saturday morning, you wake up, you're pretty high and dry around the area. There's the rain shield out to our west. This is by 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. As you move into the evening hours, there you come to about 7 o'clock that evening. You got some rain just starting to nose in here, but it doesn't keep the heavier rains in here until you start to get into Sunday morning. That's whenever it looks like you've got pretty much a deluge of some soaking rain coming in. Here's Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and then here into Monday, you just got rain after rain after rain, and it's just waves. And by the time you wake up Tuesday morning, still raining. Wednesday, it's still raining. It's still raining on Wednesday night. It's raining heavy here on Thursday. On Thursday night, it's finally gone before you've got another wave moving in next Friday before that's finally gone. And then yet another wave possible here as you get into next weekend coming on. So the euro keeps an extremely active forecast for us, and it looks quite a bit different than the GFS. Now the GFS, on the other hand, I will say this, the GFS has been trending more north with the precipitation. Let me put this back here, and you can even see there are the heavier bands of the precipitation up to the north. It's been varying, and for the past few runs, it had us in that heavier rain a little bit down here towards the south, but it wouldn't be impossible for that heavier rain to go up to the north, given what we have up in the upper level heights of the atmosphere. If you look at the mid-level jet stream here, we're about 40,000 feet or so up in the atmosphere, and what you see is pretty much a zonal flow. You've got a slight little dip, a little kink in the jet stream around here for us. Otherwise, it's pretty much west to east. You have to go up here into Canada before you get any major kinking going on there in the jet stream. So Pacific air for us for the most part coming in here. So it's not a pattern that's going to be conducive to squelching these storms down to the south. See what you have when you have a deepening low pressure, and take a look at this. You're at, if I just step back in time, what you got here is you got a low pressure developing. You're starting out at about 1,008, but this is starting to lose its energy here and transfer to a newly forming low right up in here. Once that low forms, you're now down to 1,007 millibars, 1,006 millibars, 1,005, 1,004. You've got a deepening low pressure. What happens when you have a deepening low pressure like that, one that's getting stronger, is they're going to want to go poleward. They want to start to pull themselves north toward the North Pole, and that's due to the centrifugal force of how the low spins counterclockwise. It's going to want to pull. Remember, it's going to it's going to spin itself in this direction. So as it wounds up tighter and tighter, it's going to naturally want to pull that low more poleward towards the north over time. And because if you look over here, what you see any absence of here is any high pressure or major blocking. You've got a ridge of high pressure here sort of way up to our north, but it's not close enough here to be able to affect it very much. And so that is certainly a possibility that it could lift up a little bit more towards the north. That's not a guarantee. We don't know exactly where this is going to go yet, but right now what I'm saying is it could be us. It could be a little bit more towards the north, but looks like rain's coming. It's a question of how much and who gets the heaviest swath. On the heaviest swath of rain, we're looking at accumulated precipitation here in the modeling over the course of Friday. Well, actually, this is total accumulated, so this will go now through the end of the forecast period of the 10 days. So we're looking towards next Friday now, and you can see the heaviest swath on the GFS model. Yesterday, the heaviest swath, they had it up here in central Indiana, but it still kept us with significant range. You're talking 3 inches down here in southwest Indiana there in the reds. If you go a little bit more in time, though, you see it got to start lessening up, down, maybe a couple of inches down in here. And finally, on the current run, it has maybe an inch or so or less in places, and the heavier trended up towards the north. Now, that is what the GFS model is saying. But remember, we are in, let's see, this is Wednesday, correct? So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday before the big rains come in. That's 4, and Monday would be 5 days. When you get into that 4, 5, and 6 day period, we call the GFS the Goofus model, because oftentimes it just sort of does very funky things and just does some random weird stuff and then corrects itself back to the right solution as it gets a little bit closer in time. So that's very much a possibility. This could trend south on the GFS again, especially given that we have other models disagreeing. Here you have what the Canadian model, which, by the way, the Canadian model was the first to see this heavy rain event earlier on in this week, and it's been one of the leading models, honestly, this summer on all the pattern that we've been in. The Canadian model been doing quite well. Canadian model is still taking some heavy rain for us as we go through the wet period this weekend, starting on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and then lasting through next week. Look at this; it's given us about almost 5 inches there up around the Washington airport, 3 there in Evansville, close to 4 there in Louisville. It's still got some pockets of some heavier rain up north as well, but it keeps us here in southern Indiana in some significant rains over the course of the next week. And then finally, we've got our friend the Euro model, and the Euro model is just going ridiculously ballistic with its precipitation. And I already showed you the hour by hour here on the Euro model what it was showing. And look at that. This is showing here. I know it's a little hard to read the numbering on this, but this is showing basically around 4 inches over the next week in the Louisville area here, and same with the Evansville area. But look at this. Portions not far from our area here. This is 8.4 inches as you get up into this swath. So some very, very significant rains could be coming if indeed the Euro is right on that. Well, that's the 3 big models that we have to look at this point. They're all pointing towards heavy rain for someone, but folks, it's just a question of where at this point. We'll have to fine-tune those details as things get a little closer. But bottom line is, if you have some outdoor plans this weekend, well, you want to maybe think about some backup plans for this, because I think what you're going to end up seeing here, folks, is there's going to be some rain around the area, especially on Sunday and Monday. Saturday's not looking too bad to me at this point. Saturday looks fairly decent until late in the evening, but Sunday and Monday are looking rather wet around here, and it's just a question, I think, at this point of whether it's going to be more of a spotty type of showers where we get some breaks, where we can still do some things outdoors, or is it going to be heavy soaking rains coming in those days? And that's what the models are going to have to battle out over the next couple of days as we get closer in time. But certainly a heads up, folks, some significant rain could be coming there. Definitely could be useful. There are some of us that have had significant amounts of rain and probably don't want it, but a lot of us have had very little rain over the past couple of weeks around here. It's been the story of the haves and have-nots. Some people have gotten it, some people have not gotten it, and so this is going to be looking like an area-wide beneficial rain. That alone itself will be a pretty good thing. Now, beyond this, we do have, we got the pleasant weather to deal with right now, the temperatures. But beyond this, we got some heat coming back again. We're not going to stay in these lower 80s that we're seeing this week forever, unfortunately. And beautiful summer weather. Enjoy it while it lasts, though. There is a heat wave coming, and we can already see it starting to come into the models. In fact, GFS here is wanting to say by the time we get into later next week, we could be in the upper 90s for temperatures. The good thing is, though, it only lasts about 2 or 3 days before it knocks us back down again. So basically, what you've got is you've got a series of ridges and dips in the jet stream. It comes a pretty big heat ridge over us, but it looks like it's pretty transient for 2 or 3 days before we get another dip, another trough in the jet stream, quickly moving that out of the way and coming back down to more seasonable and even possibly below normal weather again. So we do have some, I think, have some heat coming here, but it doesn't look like a sustained heat. And of course, that is a very, very good thing. The Euro model, by the way, yesterday was actually taking us into the hundreds during this time period. It has since backed off due to all the rain that it is predicting next week. So right now, anybody's guess, especially when you get this far out of what's going on. But the model's certainly starting to see some hints of some significant warmth as we head in time. But again, looks rather transient based on the pattern. In fact, if I were to show you some of the indices that we look at to predict the jet stream, the P&A is one of those, the Pacific North American Teleconnection. It's up and down and between positive and negative all over the next month or so, and so that indicates a very active transient period. We're not going to see a significant stretch of cooler than normal or way above normal. It's going to be back and forth, and that's the way things are starting to look like as we shape up into June. For now, though, we'll go to southernindianaweather.com, to our newly redesigned website here, folks. Click on 10-day forecast. Tonight, not too bad. It's going to be another cool morning as you head out there. About 58 for our low tonight. We'll see maybe a few clouds, but not too bad. Mostly clear sky. By the time you get into Thursday, mostly sunny. Again, low 80s around the area. Really can't beat that. Friday, beautiful day around for the most part, though. I think there will be some spotty showers, but it's only a 30% chance. Mid 80s for your high. In the weekend, that's whenever we get into things. I'll go with isolated showers here on Saturday. I think the better chances come late on Saturday night, and especially as we go into the overnight hours. Best chances, though, really come on both Sunday and Monday, and that's when heavy rain is certainly possible on those days. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it looks like we get the warmth back up in here again, but we've got some scattered to spotty or isolated showers each of those days. And as we head into the end of the 10-day, we've got some pretty significant warmth coming on here again. So the warm-up is coming, and we've got an active weather pattern coming again. So just keep it tuned right here to southernindianaweather.com as we go through this, folks. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Just make sure if you've got some outdoor plans that you have some backup. Make sure you've got a covered porch or something you can go under. It's not looking pretty as far as the weather goes. And of course, I know a lot of people do fireworks on the weekend as well. Not looking great for firework weather this weekend. That can change. Keep our fingers crossed and we will see. But for now, the way the models are looking, not looking good for this weekend. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite for SouthernIndianaWeather.com. Thanks for watching this long-range update, folks. Have another one of these for you soon. Check back.